before you move to Houston, there's some things that you just absolutely have to know. Now, my family and I decided to call this place home, but every time I come across one of these things, they definitely make me reconsider my decision. Hi, my name is Aaron Lathan. I'm a realtor in the greater Houston area, and every week I'm helping buyers relocate to and throughout the greater city of Houston. So if you need any advice on where to eat, sleep, live, play, hit me up. I'm your guy, morning, noon, or night. Feel free to shoot me a text, hit me with a call, hit me with a DM, email, any way that you have to get in touch with me. I would love to be of assistance. Hit me up, like I said, morning, noon, or night. I'm your guy. There's gonna be a like button somewhere on the screen. Hit that like button. Also, subscribe. I'm doing these kind of videos every week, giving my opinions and my breakdown of everything that's going on in the city of Houston from the perspective of someone that has moved here that was not born here, right? So if you're interested in that kind of video, definitely subscribe. I'm doing these kind of videos every week. So I love the city of Houston, right? I love it. My wife and I have been here for a few years now. We're now raising our daughter, Chandler, here. We've been here for 5 or 6 years now. So it's safe to say that I love the city. But every once in a while, and it's not even that infrequent, there are some things that I just really don't like about the city. And it's like no way around it, right? There's some things that you really need to know if you're thinking about relocating here specifically. There's some things that you have to know about this city before you plan to make this home. And the first thing on that list to me is traffic. Traffic is absolutely awful here. Traffic is, and like I'm sure it's not LA style where you're in traffic for hours upon hours upon hours. It looks like, I've never been there, so I can't really speak to it, but just going off what TV shows, and it looks like traffic in LA is awful. But if you live in the suburbs and you plan on having any kind of life in the city, traffic is gonna be trash for you. Like, and perfect example, me and my wife moved here 5 or 6 years ago. We were moving here from San Antonio. In San Antonio, we lived about 15 miles from our job. So that would take us like 30, 45 minutes on a bad day. We thought it would be the same. We moved to the Energy Corridor, which is on the west side of Houston, technically still Houston, but it's like almost in Katy. We moved there, we were working about the same distance as we would have had we stayed in San Antonio from our new jobs here in Houston. And it would literally take us like an hour to get to our jobs on a good day. On a bad day, it would take like 2 hours. So just imagine moving to a place thinking that it's gonna be sunshine and rainbows, we're getting paid more money, it's a better opportunity. And you are saying, yeah, that's cool, but you're gonna spend 10 to 12 hours in the car every week for commuting to work, right? That changes a lot of stuff about how you would see that city. And like I said, my opinion, is if you're gonna move somewhere, it needs to be kind of tailored to what your lifestyle is gonna be. What do you plan on doing the most? Do you plan on being in the city? Do you plan on being in the suburbs? Do you plan on being by trails and all that stuff more? That will kind of determine where I would say I think you should live. But traffic is definitely one of the worst things. The next thing, and I'm from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, so it shocks me every time. I'm just like, man, this bothers me. But the heat here, man, like it is crazy. And I don't know if I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I believe in science and all that stuff, global warming. I believe in all that stuff. And it's just like, man, there is no way that this is the same summer 90 degrees that I could just run in all day as a kid 25 years ago. There's no way that this is the same temperatures. Like, it just literally feels like you're being cooked. And after I moved from Baton Rouge, I moved to San Antonio, and we would frequently have temperatures of, over 100. That was kind of like a daily occurrence out there. But something about how muggy and just gross it feels here is just, I know it could probably be a change of pace, and it has been a change of pace for some of my clients moving from colder places that, have a lot of snow. So they're just excited to be able to be outside and have shorts on and all that stuff. But man, if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. It's just muggy and gross. You go outside for a minute and you're already sweating. You're already pitting under your shirt. And I'm a big sweaty boy. So I'm just always gross. Like no matter what I do, no matter what measures I'm taking, I'm always just kind of sweaty. And there's one of those things where I pray and I'm like begging for winter, and then I realize that I'm not prepared and I don't actually have any clothes to actually do winter. But the heat here is awful, right? The next thing that would be on that list are the mosquitoes. And again, I'm from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Mosquitoes are not a new concept to me. We had them in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. It was just one of those things, in the South you have them. I don't know about in other places, but in the South you have them. But down here, it's like they are in a gang and you are a rival out here. They are attacking the shit out of you out here. And it's like my wife, I don't know if they're just sweet on my wife or it's her blood type or whatever, but they just love my wife. So if we ever want to go outside or do something to get a change of pace from just being inside all the time, going outside, if we finally say, okay, we're brave enough to go against the heat, then we go outside and we got to deal with the mosquitoes that are just out here attacking us. And it's just like they are unrelenting, and it rains a lot here, and that just gives them a pool to basically mate and just breed and just have way more. And it's just like you can literally go outside and come back inside with 20 or 30 bites on you. Not an exaggeration. It's really crazy out here with mosquitoes. The fourth thing that I really don't like, and it's crazy because it kind of helps me as a realtor, right? And that's construction. And I love new construction homes. I love what it has provided for me and my family. But this place is, because it's such a big city and because it's so growing, it is in a constant state of construction. And that's commercial, that's residential, and probably the most egregious for such a big city is roadway construction. I think I just saw on the Instagram for our news station here that there's going to be one of our most major loops shut down for like 2 or 3 years here. I already talked about how terrible traffic is. I can only imagine what that's going to do when I have to go to those parts of town that are most affected by that loop closure. But there's always something being built here, and that's a beautiful thing because it provides opportunities, it provides jobs, it provides homes. I understand that. But if you are in a place where you don't want to constantly be in a construction zone, Houston is not the spot for you, man. Like I said, there is literally construction on damn near every corner that you turn in the city of Houston, and that whether that's a roadway, that's commercial, that's residential, you will always have construction around you. And a byproduct of always being in construction that many people don't think about is the fact that I get nails in my tire literally probably every month. No exaggeration, we're just halfway through the year and I've already had to take my car to Discount Tire 10 times this year. Not an exaggeration, there's no BS, 10 times this year, right? Now, granted, I have a membership with them where they'll go and they'll patch all my stuff and fix it, and it's mostly free if they can repair it. But that is 10 times that I've had to drop my car off this year to leave it for 3 or 4 hours for them to make an assessment or patch or whatever, right? You're not planning on doing that. And that just comes with being, especially in my line of work where I'm forced to kind of be in these new construction and zones like that. It's something that you don't think about, but it adds up. And I recently took my car to the dealership to do their service, and they literally were like, dude, you got like 10 patches on this tire. It's literally unsafe. We have to replace this tire, right? So it eventually caught up to me, but that's something that is a byproduct of being around constant construction in the area. Another thing that many people don't think about or would say is a negative to moving here would be the gentrification that's happening, right? And there's a, being in real estate, I can see both sides of it, right? If there's an area that has always been home and you like how things are and how things look and there's a comfortability with you growing up there and being there and seeing that thing your whole life, and someone comes in and puts a new skyrise or a triple stack townhome on a place that used to be your favorite grocery store, I can understand that tension and that resentment. I understand it. On the other side of that, I also see, if there's an area that has kind of transitioned into being more of a safe haven for crime and things of that nature, and things just look depressed and there's not many resources or opportunity, and the values in that area have dropped, and there's an opportunity to put something new and put some fresh faces and families in that area to increase the value, I also see that as a positive thing. So I can understand the strife. But what I know is that if you move here and you don't plan on seeing that, man, you are gonna have a rude awakening, because kind of tied into that last point, development and new construction is literally on almost every corner. Literally almost every corner. And if it's one of those things that you don't wanna see, or if you feel some kind of way about displacing or gentrification in any kind of way, Houston will likely not be the place for you, because even in some of the most sought after areas in the city, we don't really have good zoning. So there's an opportunity where you'll see like a liquor store, drugstore, pawn shop, and then a $500,000 house. That kind of thing can occur. And if you have the money to buy that liquor store or grocery store or whatever that used to be someone's business, someone's livelihood, and demolish it and put something new there, that occurs all the time here in Houston. So it's definitely a place where you can mix so many socioeconomic backgrounds, and sometimes that causes tension and has a certain look. Sometimes it just doesn't look or feel right. And there's a lot of neighborhoods where that occurs in the city of Houston. Another thing that is almost a deal breaker out here is the energy cost, right? So we are like the energy capital of the United States. However, our entity that kind of micromanages our energy, ERCOT, can't seem to keep us cool or keep us warm efficiently. And there's another layer to that, and that's a whole different story. We can have that conversation if you want to offline. But that's a whole different conversation, right? More important to you, if you buy or you rent somewhere that is more than 10 years old, your house is not going to be energy efficient, and you're going to spend literally probably hundreds of dollars a month in just power utility costs. That's not water, that's not gas, that is just your electricity bill. Every month is probably going to be like $200 or $300. And when me and my wife first moved here, we had a more energy efficient, it was a brand new apartment. It's like 1,300 square feet. We were only spending like $100 a month. When we moved into the city, it was a little bit older apartment in the Midtown area. It was like 800 square feet, and we were spending almost $200 a month just on power. And I had one of those like mid-tier, it wasn't like a cut rate plan, it was like a mid-tier, but it was just like the house was not energy efficient, and the air would just be on at all times of the day, and our energy bill was like almost $200 every month. And that's just kind of something that you need to expect if you're gonna move here and you're gonna call this place home. If you don't plan on buying new or renting new or new-ish, at least within the last 10 years, you're gonna spend a lot of money on utilities. And the last thing that is still a deal breaker to me almost, and every time we have issues or something like this comes up, I'm just like, man, we really need to reconsider living here, is the flooding. So we've been here the last 5 or 6 years, and in each of those, almost every year, we're witnessing like a 500-year flood event, right? Flooding here is terrifying, it is very fast. The city is just not meant to handle a lot of rain in a fast amount of time. I've never seen anything like it. I literally lived in Baton Rouge, Louisiana my whole life. There was literally flash flood warnings every year. There was flooding warnings every year. And we would literally, in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, go and have a hurricane party. We would literally go and be like, this is a free day out. Let's go have a party during this rainstorm, right? In Houston, if you see a flash flood warning or if you see anything that is like flash flood warning for the next X amount of days, go inside and make sure that you're safe. It's not worth it, right? The other side of that is the damage that the water could potentially cause depending on where you decide to call home. And it's almost like no rhyme or reason. You know, there's websites and things that we can look at to see if you have a risk or a higher risk of having flooding, but in some of our biggest storms here, a lot of those areas that flooded weren't necessarily in flood prone areas. So yeah, it's definitely one of those things that freak me out every time. As someone who is not in a flood zone at all, I pay for flood insurance every year. It's something that I encourage anybody that's moving here that is going to own or has the ability to get flood insurance to do it, just because literally the flooding can affect you almost anywhere in the city, and you'll never know when it's coming. So that's the end of the video today. I love the city of Houston, but those things right there are something that make me reconsider every time I'm having one of my moods, and I'm just like, man, we got to get out of this place. But like I said, I love it. I've called it home for the last 5 or 6 years. I don't see myself being anywhere else in the near foreseeable future. It's a great place, lots of opportunities, but it's some things that you definitely need to reconsider and think about before calling this place home. My name is Aaron Lathan. I'm doing videos like this every week. If you like the video, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. I'm doing videos like this every week, giving my opinion on the things that's going on in the city of Houston from the perspective of someone that's not born here. You know, I moved here as an adult, and I'm giving you my perspective. If you have any questions at all, feel free to shoot me a text, give me a call, hit me with a DM, hit me with an email, anything that you got to do to get in touch with me. I look forward to hearing from you, and I hope you have a great day.